Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the WIFFY Real Podcast, man. I'm excited. I know I always say that, but it's because every time, man, I have a new episode, I get excited because I have awesome guests, man. And today, I have two awesome guests, a power couple, man, in the Phoenix Valley, David and Luz. Give it up for David and Luz, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. WIFFY. Thank you for having us on the show today.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm excited to dig into your guys' story, man. I'm excited to hear where you guys come from, where you are, and where you're going. You guys are making waves on social media, man. And I'm just excited for you guys. I'm excited for what you're doing now and what you're going to do. I see good things coming to you guys, man. So thank you guys for being here. It's an honor for me to have you. And before we get started, man, every time we have a guest on the show, we do a AI generated intro, man. So today I'm going to read that intro for you guys. So here we go. It says, meet David and Luz Villalvazo, Phoenix's hottest real estate power couple. Top ranked in the Phoenix Valley and multiple industry awards under their belt. They're not just working the market, they're owning it. Cool vibes, expert moves, and results that speak louder than words. Hoorah.
Let's go.
What an intro, man.
Yeah, that's
what
dope.
an intro, man.
You just forgot. I forgot to say how handsome David is and how
Dude.
beautiful. But yeah, I'll let it slide. Let it slide.
You're crushing it, dude. Guys, he walked in. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm the quiet one right here, man. Look at that statement right there, man. He's taking over, dude. Gosh, you are good looking, by the way, dude. And he's got awesome boots. You guys can't see him. He's killing it with the boots.
I'd show him, but I'm not that flexible.
Yeah, guys. Like I said, man, excited that you guys are here, man. I guess we'll start with you, David, and then we'll go over to Luz.
Yeah.
If you can just share, dude, with the audience, like, where does your story begin, man?
Well, I was born, so that's kind of where it starts, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm David. I was raised here in Arizona, in Phoenix, primarily. I was born in Mexico, so I am from Tijuana. So I'm here as a DACA recipient, just hustling and trying to make the best of life and do what I can for myself and my family.
Right on, dude. Tijuana, bro. I'm from Calexico, dude. I don't know if you're familiar, dude, but like Calexico, Mexicali. Mexicali.
Okay.
So Mexicali, Calexico, dude. So Calexico's on the U.S. side. Mexicali was on the Mexican side. But I born and raised, and it's a border town basically between San Diego and Yuma, Arizona. So that's crazy. But I've been to Tijuana a couple of times.
Yeah, I've never been there. I mean,
Can't share what I did when I was there, but
I'll figure it out after the show.
Yeah. Dude, so you were born there? Were you raised there? Or
No. So I have no memory of being there. So I was brought over at a very, very young age. My first memories that I have are from California, because we went from Mexico, Tijuana to Riverside, California.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And till I was about 4 or 5, and then we came over to Phoenix.
Dude.
So my first memories are from California, but then everything else is Phoenix.
Phoenix, dude, yeah. So random fact, dude. It's interesting that you were born by the ocean, but a little bird tells us that you don't like shrimp, dog. What's up with that, dude?
Yeah, no, so they misinformed you. I'm allergic to seafood.
Okay, that's different. That's different, dude.
I'm allergic.
Hey, no, man, we need to work on our investigation.
That's what he said.
No, that's correct. I'm not a big seafood fan. I can't do it. I always try it. I never say, hey, that looks nasty, I'm not gonna try it. I try it, and for whatever reason, I don't like it.
Yeah, dude. You know what's funny?
I'm
dude?
getting better at it though. I do every now and then. If there's some food there and that's all there is, I'll eat it. So.
Dude, I love shrimp, dude. I love shrimp. Like, yeah, if I can have shrimp not every day, but like, especially in the summer, it just makes it feel like you're eating something cool and fresh, But,
we had lobster tail the other day. I was like, baby, I never had lobster tail. Let's try it out. She's like, all right, cool. And I did not like it.
But she did. You didn't like it? Dude, I wish I could tell you if I did or not, but I can't afford lobster, dog.
And you just offered me some.
I did in the real estate
Oh.
game, dog. You know what I'm saying? But cool, man. Awesome, dude. What about you, Luz? tell us about you.
Yeah. So I was also born in Mexico. I was born in Mexico, in Guerrero, Mexico. And I moved over here when I was 4 years old. And yeah, I basically, same as David, just grew up. I don't have any memory whatsoever, not even photos of when I was in Mexico at all, unfortunately. So all the photos I have, all the memories I built here. But yeah, I mean, super proud of, having that background and being able to just accomplish so many things with that background that I have, also DACA recipient. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Awesome. Interesting, man. So when you came from Mexico and you guys originally landed here in Phoenix?
Yes. So
Cool.
my dad was already here. When I came from Mexico, my dad was already here. I think he had been here for a year or so. Then I came, and then my mom after that.
Right on,
So
man.
yeah.
Yeah, so my mom, she's from Sinaloa, and she met my dad in Mexicali. I guess she had moved up there. I don't really know the story, but they got married, and then but my dad, he's from over here. But yeah, dude, grew up in, like I said, Calexico. So even in my English class, we spoke Spanish, man, because
Yeah.
our football team sucked, but our soccer team, bro, state champions. Yeah, dude. So right on, guys. And so that's your background, man. And so where do you guys meet? Where does that story begin?
We actually met in a business different than real estate, different than anything else we did, but it was a sales business and insurances. That's where we met. She was my trainer.
No way, dude.
She was my trainer, and it went from there. So
You kind of skipped a part. We actually went to high school together.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
We
I
went
didn't
to
know
high
that.
school together.
What high school did you guys go to?
North High School.
North High School?
Yeah, North High School. But we went to high school together. Thing is that we didn't really know of each other in high school. I guess I probably seen him around once or twice, a couple times, around the school, whatnot. But we didn't know of each other at all.
I knew her as the chip lady.
Yeah, I used to sell chips in school.
Dang.
I was that one
Out of your
girl.
backpack?
Yeah,
Dude.
out of the duffel bag, that was me.
10-4, dude.
Yeah.
Hustler even back then, dude.
Oh my gosh, I've been hustling since I was in kindergarten.
Right on,
I
girl.
used to sell in kindergarten jewelry. My mom used to sell jewelry back then. She would actually make the jewelry. And I remember I would be like, oh my gosh, Mom, I want to sell something. I want to help you. So she went to the store and bought me the little kid jewelry stuff. And I started making kids' names on there and oh, you want one with your name? Give me $1 and I'll make it for you. I'll bring it tomorrow. So then they would give me $1 and then it would kind of go from there. So I used to sell that. I used to sell the little pencils in school, with
No
the
way.
little pencils, the little erasers that they would put on top. I used to sell that. And then I used to sell chips and just so many different, anything I could sell, I would sell. If I knew I could make money off of it, I want it. I don't know if you know, but in high school, I think this is, or in middle school, I don't remember. They have you sell chocolates in the boxes, those chocolates and stuff.
Yes. I have a story about that. Man.
I would always join every single year, and I remember I would always want to be the number one to sell. And I remember I think the most boxes I sold was 8 boxes in one of those rounds. Another person beat me. They sold 13. And
Gosh, dude, they were working night and day, dude. Dude, that's funny. Yeah, you bring that up because I have a story about that, guys. In junior high, I think it was for to help raise the school money or whatever. And I got a box, and the bell rang, and I went outside to wait for my parents, and there was this pillar where I would wait for my parents. I put the chocolates up there, and I sat down. I was it was my first year in junior high. I was a 7th grader. And these homies didn't know who I was. Just kidding.
They didn't know who WIFFY was.
Yeah, they didn't know it was WIFFY they were messing with, dude. And so they came over, dude. All I heard was ruffling, I didn't think anything of it. So I get up when I see my dad and to grab the box to leave. And then I see the box. All the chocolates are gone, dude. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? And then I turned around and everybody was laughing. I was like, oh. And then And then I came back the next day and took over, dude. I showed him who I was. No, I'm kidding, dude. But yeah, no. You
What
know
ended up happening? Did you have to pay for them?
I don't remember my dad. I just remember my dad getting mad at me. I can't say what he said, but he's like, you better go find a job, son. Shoot. But
That is my worst nightmare.
yeah, it was crazy. But it's a cool story that you shared because it gives insight into who you are today. And it's funny you say that because, again, dude, your mother-in-law, she was like, yeah, my daughter-in-law, she's very motivated. You know, she's out there. So when she was talking about you guys, she definitely gave you that hype, you know? So I can see where it comes from, you know? So in high school, you guys meet in high school, but again, didn't really vibe back then, you know? So the connection didn't come till you see this handsome man in the insurance
It was not
office.
love at first sight. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
It was
David's
not.
like, okay, whatever.
Whatever you say.
Dude, David,
For
dude.
neither of us, because it wasn't for you either.
It wasn't. It was definitely, you know, the more we spent time together, the more it was like, hey, there's something different about this lady.
Yeah, right
Or
on, dude.
this girl at that time.
Dude. So right here on national podcast TV, dude, what was the one thing where you went like, I got you.
Can you elaborate on that question?
My credit score.
That is hilarious, dude.
No,
Man, bro was checking credit scores, dude.
I was like, what's
Even
what's
before
that
he was
credit
a
card right
lender.
there? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Man,
No,
man, this
well,
girl's hot. She's got an 820.
she got an 820 up
That's
there,
funny,
you know?
dude.
I'm gonna get my car soon.
Yeah.
No, so, I mean, something that really attracted me to her at that time when we were getting to know each other is just how motivated she was as well to make it happen, to make whatever she was doing at the time happen for her family. You know, it was like, hey, like I got to make this happen. The one that's risking potentially having a good job to start this business, and it was like, wow, that's something that that we have mutually that we want to do for our families. So that's something that kind of stuck me stuck me to
Right.
pay more attention to her and be like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Yeah, that's a great quality, man. Yeah, that's awesome. And for you, Luz, what was the one thing where you went that it just like changed things around?
Yeah, no, for me, he's a very attentive person, like very, very attentive. And he just noticed everything, like, oh my gosh, I like your earrings today, or like, I like your nails, or I like that color, or like stuff like that. And I'm like, dang, wait a minute. Like, I don't hear that every day. You know what I mean? And he just started noticing little things. And I think that really, really caught my attention. And he was he still is a very good listener. And I think that's definitely not us like cheesing at each other.
I had to play the game at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, do you guys have kids or no?
No.
No.
I was gonna say, nah, you better you better be calling Bertha right now. Hey, we need a babysitter. Hey, yeah, it's awesome, guys. It's beautiful, beautiful, man. But I could totally see the vibe of you being a listener, dude. Like, totally.
What is that supposed to mean?
He just has like
Anytime
this,
you need a shoulder,
he's got like this calm aura about you. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibe,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
David, dude, I got it going on. Right on, guys. So you guys meet. So from that point, you guys like getting married or whatever. Like, how long was that, man?
So we were dating for a bit, like I think like 2 years, and then or a year and a half around there. I'll say 2 years. Then I proposed to her. And a year later is when we got married.
Right on. And you guys have been married for how long now?
We're coming up on 5 years in September.
Ah, dude.
Don't ask me the day, I don't remember, but in September.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Right on, dude. Yeah, I think I saw a video of you talking about how when you got married, you guys had bought a house, and then something about renting or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
during
We actually bought the house before we got married, because we obviously, well, as me, I grew up. So did he, but I think me more. In a very like strict household, I guess you can say. I've been going to church since I moved here. My dad was already going to church when I got here when I was 4 years old. So he was already going to church, and we, I grew up in church literally since I was 4. And obviously the whole plan was you have to get married before you go, live with anyone and all that stuff. And, before you have kids, before all that stuff. So in my head, in my mind was like, okay, I'm looking for love, but not just just because like I want to marry this person, like I want to have a life with this person. And yeah, I mean, we ended up, I forgot where I was going with this.
So we we were dating. I proposed to her, did everything correct, talked to her parents and everything, made sure everything was solid. And we had planned our wedding for a certain date, and it was before COVID happened.
The house.
And we bought the house, and then COVID started happening. And we had to postpone our wedding because of COVID, right? They didn't allow us to, it was shut down. We couldn't do it. So we had to move from April to September. And because of that, she wasn't allowed to come and live with me until
you can only imagine
we got
David
married.
like, no.
She wasn't allowed to come live with me until we, the day we got married. So the house was just sitting there. The house was just sitting there. So we're like, hey, we're paying for it and it's cool, but it's just sitting there. We gotta find a way to make money off of it or something, or pay itself or something like that. And
At this point, were you guys already in real estate or not yet?
No. So like David said, it was 2020. We were going to get married in April. And obviously at that point, we're like, okay, we need to find a house. Like, let's get prepared because where are we going to live? We don't want to rent. That was our goal, not to rent. So we ended up applying for a house. We ended up getting the keys January 2020. COVID started happening, I think, in March, April, around there.
Well, January, February, it started coming to news, right? Like, oh, this is happening over here on this side of the world.
And like
then March
all the
happened.
big weddings and like all the big stuff, like they have to stop, they have to get canceled, blah, blah, blah. And for me, that was my biggest nightmare ever because I grew up in my church that is like over 600 people. And for me, it was always my dream as a girl to have my big wedding with everyone there and like a big old venue and like so many things. So when I heard that, I literally cried and I was like, no, mind you, we had already invested so much money into this with everything that we had. We were about to get married 2 months before COVID happened. And I was like, no, I was like bawling my eyes out. Like, there's no way. David was like, good for me. Like, I get to save money.
Thank you, Lord.
I was like, nah, baby, we'll figure something out.
10-4, dude. You know what's funny, dude? Like, I think it's a Latino thing, dude. We spend a ton of money on our kids' quinceañeras, but we don't open up like ARIs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, me too. With my wedding, we didn't spend that much money, but even the money that we spent, dude, I wish that I knew then what I know now. Because I told my wife, dude, we were like in that perfect golden zone where in Arizona, it was still very affordable. I wish we would have just like gotten married and then easy wedding, boom, come over here and invest it, But again, if everybody knew then, right, we would all be rich. But yeah. So you guys have your wedding. But
so we ended up having to postpone it. I think that at that moment, the news were saying that you couldn't have more than 100 people at your wedding. And
guys, you guys,
we were like, how is this even going to happen? There's over 600 people.
Girl, damn.
In the church. And how am I going to choose 100 people? Like, I'm about to break some people's hearts, you know? And I knew most of the people, because again, I've been there since I was 4. For David, it was kind of like, okay, I already got my 50 people. Like, you choose your other 50 people.
My list ready. We get to go. Let's do it.
Dang,
his list was like his mom, his dad, his sisters, and like 2 friends. But I know it happened. We ended up having to postpone it to September, and we ended up finally getting married in September. We actually, kind of going back a little bit to what David was saying, that the house was by itself. Our house was empty. We couldn't move into the property until, we were officially married. So we got it in January. The house was empty probably till like August, maybe July, August, around there.
I don't remember.
It was empty. So we kind of had to continue paying the mortgage ourselves and whatnot until a friend of ours was like, hey, why don't you guys just rent out the property? Like, it's been empty for 5 months. You guys are losing money and you guys have a wedding coming up. Like, why don't you just rent it out? So we're like, we don't know how to do that. Like, we never even thought about it. That wasn't even an option. Like, we want to live in the house. And he's like, okay, he started teaching us all the, why don't you do this? He already had a couple rentals. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, we don't even know if we're going to get married till next year. Who knows? So might as well rent it out. So we did. We ended up renting out, and then we got married. Once we got married, we ended up going to live in some apartments that we ended up renting out ourselves. But at that point, we're like, wait a minute, I kind of like this being landlord type thing.
Yeah, and we started a cash flow on it. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was like an extra couple $100 a month. It was like, hey, why are we gonna live it? And let's just keep making a little,
Yeah.
couple $100 here. So we just decided to keep renting it. I think at first it was like $200 a month that we were getting, back. We're like, oh, cool, that covers a couple of our, monthly expenses, some groceries. And then after COVID, that's when the rents really shot up, right?
Right,
So then it's like
things changed here.
we got a new tenant, so I was like, well, let's go to the market rent right now. So it was like $2,500 out there.
Dang, dude.
So it went from $200 monthly cash flow to $1,000, and around that range. I don't remember the exact price
Yeah.
point, but after that, that's when we opened our eyes. Like, hey, like we can do more in real estate, and build that passive income,
Right.
and have that stream of income coming in, even if we're not touching it or using it. It's there for us to like fall back on, if anything, or a little
Right.
extra, or savings for vacation, and then overall just building wealth with owning property.
Right. Right on. So that was kind of like the introduction for you guys to what you do now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you guys got married, you guys were still doing insurance?
No, we weren't.
Do you remember?
I remember we weren't. So we met there, and it's a tough business, and we were young. It's similar to real estate, to being a real estate agent. Finding your own clients, your own insurance agent, insurance broker. So it was we were younger. So at that time, it was, for me at least, it was more like, dang, I'm 21. I can get a job over here and make more money than going out to find somebody who I have to sell this product to.
Right.
Which, and then it was life insurance. So that's kind of hard to sell, because people, they just say, well, I don't need it because what if nothing happens? And it's hard. But going back, it's just like real estate. So at that time, we kind of just put it aside and
right on, dude.
went somewhere else.
Dude, so I'm going to take a little left turn right here, dude. And we're going to go into something different. We'll get to what you guys are doing right now. But since you're a couple and you guys seem pretty cool, man, you guys seem to have it together. You guys are hustling together. Like AI said, man, you guys are a power couple, but I can see that. It's very evident in you guys. Tell me, man, like, what have been some of the things that you guys have learned together as a couple and being in business together, man, and trying to hustle? Like, how does your ambition look like? And how do you guys flow with that? Because I'm sure you pull one way, I'm sure you pull another, or are you guys pulling the same way? But when it comes to a relationship, you both seem pretty aggressively ambitious. So how do you navigate through that, man?
It was difficult in the beginning. There was things that I refused to do in the beginning because I was not comfortable, like making videos, making content, and she would push me like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. And, as a man, sometimes you're like, stop telling me what to do in a way. But it's not even, it's just because you don't want somebody to tell you what to do, right?
Right.
Especially if it's something that's very uncomfortable to you. So in the beginning, it was very hard. It was, hey, do this. It's good for your business. But I was thinking like, well, I just don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable. I'll find a different way. But I didn't, right? So in the beginning, it was just kind of those like, do this, do that. And vice versa. I was like, hey, try to do this, try to do that. And she wouldn't do it, or she'll do it a different way that didn't work or something like that. It was just kind of butting heads in the beginning.
I'll stop you right there, dude.
Yeah.
What was your perspective, Luz?
So, yeah, for me, like you said, I do have to agree. At the beginning of our journey in real estate, it was definitely very hard. It was different because he actually got licensed before I did in real estate. He became a realtor first. I wanted to go to school to become a loan officer before. So I was like, cool. Like, hey, you're the real estate agent. I'm the loan officer. Let's tackle this together. Like, let's go ahead and, help a lot of families together. And I went to school. And for when you're starting to be a lender, you could only take the school test 3 times before you have to wait like 6 months to take it again. So I took it the first time. I completely failed. I was like a 40%. I took it the second time. It was like 53%. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to take it one more time. And if I don't take it, like this is it. And you have to wait 1 month before you take it again. Long story short, I ended up just saying, you know what? I don't want to be a loan officer anymore. I don't think this is for me. I don't know. I kind of just got discouraged. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I think I'm just going to go to school to become a real estate agent. So I ended up switching. I didn't even take it the third time anymore. I actually started just paying to go to real estate school. So then I was like, okay, cool. We were both in real estate together. But before I became a realtor, I remember I would I guess that was on my bad because I felt like I expected like a lot of things from him, but yet I was not in that role yet. I didn't know how to be a real estate agent. I used to be in wholesale before, where I was just working with investors, fix and flips, and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's that and real estate, like being a licensed real estate agent versus being a wholesaler, it's two different worlds. Okay, it's related, but it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
Similar things here and there depending on what it is, right? But two different things. And I remember we would fight a lot about him making, I think that was the biggest thing, making content, making videos, posting himself out there. And I was like, you're not gonna get clients if you don't put videos. Like, how are they gonna know about you? And he just absolutely did not like the camera at all. I remember sometimes like he would forcefully, so I wouldn't get mad, he would forcefully like record, and he was like just so angry in those videos. I was like, don't even post that. That doesn't even seem good. Like, it was just so bad. And then when I became a real estate agent, we were a real estate agent for quite some time together.
Yeah, we did it together.
And then we just kind of worked. And then after that, I was like, dang, babe, I'm sorry. Like, I told you to do this. And he's like, you see, now you remember when you told me to do that. Now you understand what I'm trying. So I was like, I'm so sorry, whatever. I started understanding. And one thing that at that time my mentor told me whenever I did become a licensed agent, he's like, hey, you need to, whenever he got his license to be a loan officer, he's like, you need to realize that you guys are working together. But that's not your business anymore. That's his business. Let him do his thing. You do your thing. You're good at what you do. Don't expect someone else to do whatever it is that you do the way that you do it. Everybody has their ways, and especially him, now that he's going into the industry as a loan officer, you guys are going to work together, but you guys are also going to work separate in a way, because his is one side, yours is another side. So you need to learn to, if you're going to have opinions, learn how to talk about it instead of telling him what to do. And I think that's kind of changed my perspective a lot, because I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, maybe the things that there's a lot of things that I still don't know that he does in the back end. I just see him hustling, working, and all that stuff. But I think it's just learning that you're not always right, and that his side of the business is way different than mine. And just respecting that, I think. And I think we've done really well. After the shift of him becoming a loan officer, I think we've done very, very well. Yeah, and he's become very well on the camera, to be honest.
Dude, for sure. At least I haven't caught that you're mad in the videos anymore.
I deleted those. Yeah, we'll still have, a little, what is it? Disagreements. We don't see eye to eye in certain things, but they're not as big as they used to be. And it's literally like let's try it this way. If it doesn't work, we'll try it the other way. We'll just find a solution.
Right
so
on, dude.
It's still there, but it's not.
So right now, do you guys work for the same? I guess I don't know how the real estate works really, but is it the same company, or how does it work?
No, so I am. I'm a mortgage broker, so I work with the Barra Financial, and she is a real estate agent, so she works for her own for a different brokerage as well.
I see, man. Right on, dude. We'll talk about that right now. I seriously want to talk about your guys' business, but before we get there, man, So you guys are married. You guys are technically changing careers. You find another path. It just kind of comes to you. It's something that you guys weren't necessarily looking for, but then you found it. It's right there.
It's actually, I want to mention something there, because I think it's pretty crazy how like God works, how life works, how just, we ever since, like, I kind of just shared a little bit about when I was little, I had that business inside of me, right? Like sales and like being able to talk to people. I love talking to people, as you can tell. I love talking. I'm pretty comfortable having conversations with people. And whenever I was becoming a loan officer, I think that's the crazy part, that I see him as a loan officer. He doesn't have to do a lot of like face-to-face things. It's more like over the phone or here and there, like in person, or just like meeting a client really quick, and that's it.
Right.
As a realtor, you're the one that's kind of like more out there. The videos, the meeting people, the going to show houses, the actually talking to the people, and like doing these giveaways, doing stuff, so many things. And now that I look back and I'm like, what were we thinking? Me trying to be a loan officer, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was
and
flipped.
You being a realtor in front of everybody. Like, what were we thinking? I guess we weren't thinking. But then now when we realize, okay, wait a minute, let's flip it around and let's go ahead and do that. And I mean, I can't speak for him, but for me, I love what I do. Like, I am literally in the industry that I really, really do enjoy everything that I do. And talking to people and being able to share everything that I've been through in my real estate journey, not just helping people buy houses, but also being able to do it ourselves. It's just a passion of mine.
So I totally see you guys on social media, and I think it's awesome, man. I think you guys are doing a great job. I see your creativeness. You know, I saw a video of you like with somebody in your trunk, and you had some boxing gloves on and stuff like that. I thought it was funny, you know. And I think you guys are on the right track, man. Because I recently was talking to another business man, and he told me, he's like, dude, you know what? If you're not on social media, then you don't have a business, you know. And so, so yeah, you guys are definitely on the right track, man. And I'm glad you're getting more warmed up to it, dude.
Yeah. I even, I mean, a lot of the stuff she's been posting recently, they're my ideas that I get.
Snap, dude.
So I'm actually pretty good. I mean, if I can say this, right? I'm pretty good at coming up with ideas and doing it, and coming up with ideas. But she's really good at acting on them. So I'll tell her that that's what complements us together, right?
Yeah, right on. Dude.
My brain's working on things, and I tell her, she's like, "Wow, let me do it."
Yeah,
and she does it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how we really complement each other like that. But I do have some ideas for videos that I want to start, doing and putting out there for my side of the business. So I'm working on that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that she's been posting recently, I've been helping her. I've been helping her.
Yeah, that's really huge. I think that's obviously in a relationship. There's always one person is better at one thing than other. That's what a couple is. Like, you need to lift each other in different things that the other person is not good at. And I think that I have to give him credit for that, because he has a lot of good ideas. There's just the execution is not there sometimes.
the execution is over there.
10-4,
She's my execution.
He tells me like, "Hey, I want to do an event for this," and I'm like, "Done. I got you. Like, let's go."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh shoot, like, wait a minute. I didn't think like tomorrow,
Yeah, it's cool, man. So I see that you guys are I mean, obviously you guys are everywhere. You're all over Phoenix, but like, do you guys centralize in downtown, like your office or something like that? Or where's your office?
Yes, we are. We are in downtown. Where we live actually is where our office is at.
No way.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
So it seems like it has a cool vibe, man, that place. Yeah, it's crazy.
I have an office in Westgate, so
Okay.
just a few minutes down the street. So I have an office in Westgate, and I do utilize it for clients and meeting new realtors and things like that. So we do work a lot in that central downtown area, but I'm expanded to the west side as well.
Interesting, dude. And yeah, I have questions about the downtown, but it has nothing to do with the pot. So I'll ask you guys after the pot. But cool beans, man. So tell me, guys. So we already kind of talked about the dynamic of both of you guys having ambition, and then how you guys have dealt with that as a couple, man. But what are some of the goals that you guys mutually have? What is it that you guys are striving for? I asked this question to the guy yesterday that we interviewed. And I thought to myself, like, man, that's a good question to ask people, because it really brings out some deep thought, man. So what are you guys striving for? What do you guys want to achieve? Not just now, but overall in life, you would say. And I know that's a big question, but if you can, break it down.
I think the ultimate goal that we both share is to be able to retire our parents in a way. And it's going to happen slowly. It's not going to be like, hey, you don't have to work anymore right away, but we want to work towards that. That's the ultimate goal, being able to have them, enjoy the rest of their lives, not having to wake up and worry about bills and money and things like that. So I think we share that goal, that ultimate goal, and trying to achieve that. And little by little, we're headed in the right direction. And eventually, it might start with, hey, I'm giving you this amount, so you don't have to worry about it. And then I'm gonna give you this amount, don't worry about it. And to eventually, hey, you don't gotta wake up for work tomorrow. So you won't have a barber in the near future.
No, bro. I'm gonna get her number. And I'm gonna be like, hey, text me your address, girl.
Right. That's a goal that I know for sure that we're both striving for, and we're definitely gonna hit. And then another goal is, everybody, it's what I think everybody's goal should be, is just to find that financial freedom, that, you have cash flow coming in, whether you decide you want to keep working, but you still have that cash flow coming in case you don't want to, or something happens, or just retire early retirement. You know, you want to have that cash flow coming in. You want to work for that and leave a legacy for your family, your future family, your children, stuff like that.
Mm.
And if I can say that for us both, I'm pretty sure that's, you know, our goal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for me, same thing. That's definitely something we share in common is the fact that we want to go ahead and retire our parents and pay them back for everything that they've obviously done for us, right? I think that's a lot of people's goals and a lot of people in our age goals is to be able to retire their parents, and that's why we do what we do, and that's why we work as hard as we work because we want to be able to, you know, give back to our families more than anything importantly. And yeah, I definitely do think that. And as a couple, for me, one of our goals is obviously to have our dream home eventually, right? Like with our family and our kids and all that stuff. But other than that, I think that it's just being able to give back to everyone that has always believed in us and everyone that was always there. And if we're able to go ahead and do something, you know, that we're able to spread the love of God, the gospel, somehow, some way back to our community. I personally feel like I have a very strong connection with youth. That's something that I've shared and something I've told him before. I'm like, I feel like even if I were to, like, let's just say be a teacher, if I were to ever be a teacher in my life, I feel like it would be to like high school students. Like that age, I just feel like there's something about me getting along very well with that kind of age. And I feel like if there's a way that I can bring the gospel to that age, I think that would be beautiful.
Awesome, guys. What's what are some things, or what's one thing I would say that in these last 5 years that you guys have been married, man, like that you've experienced together as a couple, that's just like an awesome experience outside of work and outside of the ambition, man, just on a general level, like what's something that you guys go like, man, we did this and it's so cool.
Um, I well, the first thing that struck in my head was the first time we went to Hawaii for vacation.
Ah, snap, dude. I'm telling you, dog.
Like, right, like growing up, at least for me, growing up, Hawaii was like you have to be rich to go there. Like you have to, like, it's unachievable unless you're making a ton of money or you saved a lot of money or something like that. So that was my impression growing up, and it is expensive, so you do got to save up a lot, but it's not impossible, right? So when we first talked about, hey, let's go to Hawaii, I was like, dang, it's happening, you know, like I'm going to Hawaii. Right. So when we got there, that was the first thing. And I'm pretty sure for her too, it was her first time we went together. So we got to experience the beautiful island of where would we go? Oahu. So we got to experience that together. The super clear blue water, the sand, you know, the grainy sand. It was expensive, definitely, but it was beautiful, and it's something that I think that I'm like, wow, that's something we got to experience together. And growing up, I was more like more of a like at home person versus a going out person. So I think it was more of a big deal for me, like to actually step foot out there and be like, wow, like where the heck am I right now?
Right, dude.
You know?
You know, for me and my wife, I think she would love to go to Hawaii, dude. But I'm like, man, I ain't flying over water for like 6 hours. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, I actually I think I stayed up for as long as I could. That way I can sleep during the flight, so I don't have to stay awake for
I see
awake
what you're
for the
saying,
6-7
dude.
hours.
Dang, dude. Do
He
you remember
tricked
flying over
himself.
that? Was it just blue or what?
Honestly, I didn't get the window seat.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
I was so like, no. The one time I wanted the window seat, I didn't get it, unfortunately. But yeah.
And that was the first time that we actually got to do something really big and experience wise for our family, because we flew out her mom, dad, and grandma with
Right
us.
on, dude. Right on.
And you know, we didn't tell them that they had to, you know, hey, if you guys want to come with us, pay for this, pay for that. Like we covered it, and we had them come with us. So not only did we get to experience that, but we got to see our family experienced that and see their expressions, their faces, and like, wow, like I would never be here. You know, it's so far from what we can do, but we're here.
And that's actually, that was last year in December is when we took them to Hawaii.
That's cool.
It was beautiful, man. I think all the experiences, I think for us, it literally felt like we were the parents. and they were like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
kids
they were like our
exploring
kids.
and just being like, oh my god, this, and oh my gosh that, and oh my gosh that tree reminds me of Mexico. Like just like so many things. And for me, that was my joy, seeing them just experience like all those little moments. And my grandma and like all that stuff. That was crazy because my grandma, it was actually her first time coming to here.
United States.
Yeah, to the United States.
No
sorry.
way.
Not me. It was her
Man,
first
you guys
time
gave her
coming to
the
the United
VIP.
Yeah. The first time coming to the United States, and we took her to Hawaii. She got here, and the day after, we took her to Hawaii.
Get out, dude.
I swear. And she was just like, she hadn't even heard of Hawaii.
She's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
she was
I
like,
knew
what
it.
is
I
that?
heard it was gonna be nice, but not this nice.
You're like, you know what, you're ready to go to Hawaii? Where? What restaurant is that? Is it Mexican food?
Dude, that's crazy,
yeah,
dude.
and we were there, and it was beautiful.
And we're actually planning another, family type trip like that because we took her side of the family, well, our family, right? But her side of the family. So we're planning a trip similar to that for my side of the family and being able to spread that to our family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome, guys. That's so cool, man.
It's a tradition that we want. We started after that. We're like, wait a minute. I was like, this should be a tradition every year. Like, we took my mom, my dad, my grandma, and then this year we want to take his mom, his dad, to New York. That's the plan for us to go to New York and just basically do the same thing. And like every year, okay, and then my parents, and then maybe we'll add my brother and my sister. Like we'll see.
Slowly bring the entire family.
Yeah.
Working towards that.
And then slowly we'll just have a place out there.
That's the
property
goal
out there.
right
Dude,
there.
heck
And
yeah,
then,
dude.
and then we got to bring WIFFY out
That's
there.
right, baby. Podcast on the beach. Woo!
There we go.
Dang.
That'd be dope, dude.
Imagine.
That'd be dope. Yeah, right on, guys. So right now you're working hard. You're in this new field. You're crushing it. From what it sounds like, you guys want to, continue and grow in that space. What's your guys' perspective on Phoenix? I would say in general. Like, I guess the first question is like, you talked about owning your dream home. Where would you like to own your dream home in this area, like in the Phoenix area, right? I remember when we first moved here, we didn't really know, what was what, and I just stopped right here to pump gas, and then my wife's like, "Hey, why don't you turn left?" And I was like, "Cool." So I turned left, and then we drove in here, and my wife's like, "Dude, I don't care about any other place. This is it." I was like, "What?" And at the time, I was like, "No, like, I wanted somewhere else." But I'm glad now, especially now that we have kids, I'm like that we landed here. But we know a little bit more about Phoenix now because we go and we like to just drive and see and stuff like that, dude. So I'm very familiar with the area. But like, what would you guys say? I guess question number one: where would you like to live? Where would you like to build that dream home? And number two, what do you guys think of the vibe, man? Since you guys are out there, what do you see coming? Like, what are your thoughts on that? How is it, what's what with Phoenix right now?
Well, I like I like being not really like in Phoenix. Well, for like a dream house, I think I would prefer something like a more outer, not super far, like out here in Buckeye. But
bro, don't be telling me my zip code, dog. Now they know where I live.
Right? Yeah, so I actually wouldn't mind out there in Buckeye.
You mean Yuma, Arizona?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. So I'm actually, you know what? Let me take it back. So the location is, as long as I really like the house and is like the dream house, the location, as long as it's in I guess, a nice looking area, it doesn't really matter.
Dang, bro's prepping for a politician career up in here.
I like Scottsdale. I mean, who doesn't really like Scottsdale, right? I like Scottsdale, the west side, the east side, Arcadia. I'm not really too picky about the area.
Cool, man. 10-4, dude. And what are you guys' thoughts on Phoenix right now, man? Like,
Luz wants a lakefront.
I do.
You do?
I've seen those houses before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I've heard there's obviously there downs, right? Like a lot of mosquitoes and like more like stuff like that because it's like the humidity and all that stuff.
Right.
But it just looks beautiful. I've been to like the area of Chandler, Gilbert. Oh my gosh, those homes in the lake, they're just gorgeous.
So there's homes by the lake, or are the homes literally like in front of the lake?
Like you go to the backyard, you open your backyard, and
you see the lake.
You have the lake right there.
Get out.
Yeah.
So you can have your little boat and start, going around.
And you can swim in there and stuff?
I don't know.
I don't think swim, but
you can
just
have
like
a
boats and
so,
stuff
you
like
can
that.
Oh, I
jet
see.
ski or something, but
Yeah.
depending on where you are at, right? They have their rules.
You know where I really wish they would open up some property, I guess, for sale or whatnot? I don't know if you guys have ever been to Lake Pleasant.
Mm.
But man, that lake is huge and it's awesome. And I went with a friend who has a boat, and he took me out there, and I was like, man, this is so cool, man. I need to get a boat, dude. But I don't have the money, but I'm like, we need to crush it with a pod to get a boat. But all that to say that it's beautiful out there because it's hilly. It has hills, and then there's like these trees that are Arizona type looking trees with the cactus, and it doesn't look like desert. I mean, it's desert, but it's got a different feel. You know,
Yeah.
there's like large hills, and then there's water. And I was like, man, if you build like a resort out here or something, that'd be dope. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Yeah, awesome. So, tell us about your business, guys. Feel free to take the time, man. This is the time on the pod to plug it in. But tell people what you're doing, who you're working with, where you're going with that. But before we get into those details, I just kind of want to talk about some things. I know you guys are, like I said, crushing it in your industry. Luz, specifically with you, I've seen that you're out there, man. You're out there and you're doing this and you're doing that. I recently saw, because you posted it, but also a little bird was telling me that
I wonder who it is.
that you were like, one day, or I think your whole theme was like call Luz or something like that, like
Yeah.
instead of calling Rafi, and you got to meet him and you got to go to a party or whatnot. You know, so I want to hear about that experience because I've never met the guy, but I'm interested in knowing a little bit about him because like he's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And then just your story of how you got there, your networking, you know, how that happened, and then just give people
The story, yeah, I'll tell you actually how that came out to play. I was driving one day from my office, and I just saw the Rafi post. Of course, you see that everywhere, right? For some reason, I wouldn't know. I just started recording myself, and as I was talking, I saw the post, and it said call Rafi. And I remember I saw it, and I was like, "Don't call Rafi, call Luz." Like I just said it, you know, for whatever reason. And then after that, people just like started reacting, like, "Oh, laughing!" Like they just started laughing. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe I should just start like a little "don't call Rafi, call Luz" type thing, you know? So ever since, I would always see the post, and every time I would do it, I would just like take a picture of it and post it, take a picture and post it. And then people started recognizing. So then people would be driving in the street and they would just see the Rafi and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I just thought about you." Or I just thought, like, they literally just kind of kept thinking about me as they're seeing the post because I was mentioning him so much. And people would just start like, "Oh, you need to do your billboards," and like, "You need to do like whatever," stuff like that, right? Eventually we'll do that in the future, but it kind of just happened. And ever since, I was like, I just made it a thing. And I started I even made my business card kind of look like his thing. I know. I was
So
like, I
cool.
don't want to get sued, but so I just even made like my little business card kind of look like his, like call Luz and real estate agent with my name, with my phone number and my picture and all that stuff in there. And I just started doing that, and it kind of just became a thing. And a lot of people would always just send me videos of him and like think of it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep this going. Like it's working. And why? Because in my head, I'm like, this is marketing. If
For
people
sure.
are seeing Rafi, but they know me because I'm always posting, they're just gonna automatically think about me, right? And it was working. So I was like, well, might as well. Let's keep going. It was working. And then eventually when that event came up, I got like 5 messages within like a couple of hours of people like, "Oh my gosh, you need to go to this event." And I was like, what are these people talking about? And I go in there and I see that it said Rafi contest lookalike coming to downtown and all that stuff. And I was
Get
like,
out.
oh my gosh. I was like, I have to be there. This is marketing. I have to be there. And it's funny because I had just bought like a little red suit. I wish I would have brought it. A little red suit and then my red pants that I had. And I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna wear that. Like I wasn't down to dress up like Rafi. Everybody was like, "You need a dress." I was like, no, I'm not that down. But there was a lot of people who went all out with their outfits. They were literally like girls with their mustache and like stuff like that. Dogs. I'm like, dang, I should have taken my Gojo and like at least dressed him up or something. But yeah, it was a really fun event, really cool event. I think it was awesome. It was literally like 3 minutes away from where I live. It was downtown in one of the buildings. And it was a really good time. And yeah, I was obviously excited to go and take a picture with this man that, you know, everybody was like, "You need to meet him. You need to say hi to him." Like, it would be so iconic if you did. Like, I was like, okay, my goal is for me to go there. And my friend went with me, and she was like on it. Like, she was like recording everything. And I was like, you're the realest one for doing that.
That's
But
funny, man.
she went in there and she was like, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to do that. She was like literally telling me everything I should do. She's like, oh, you should make a video of this, make a video of that. Like, I really loved her for that.
Did he seem like a cool dude, or like I've never met him?
You know what? Disappointing, because he didn't really, I feel like he didn't really have a personality. Yet again, he came towards like the end of the event. So he didn't even talk. He didn't even say like, thank you for coming. He didn't even say nothing to anyone. He just came in, everybody was like, woo, like the moment everybody's been waiting for, Rafi. He came in, and they kind of did like a little contest of who looked more like him and stuff like that. But he didn't say nothing. So I was just like, okay, well, whatever. The guy, I did videos with another guy that looked like Rafi though.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't Rafi. The videos that I did, it wasn't Rafi. It was a lookalike. That was the first. As soon as I walked in, that guy was there, and I thought it was him. Like, my head was like, like, he's alone. Like, this is the moment for me to go talk to him, But it wasn't him. I should have realized he was alone.
Why is Rafi alone?
Yeah. The guy was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, he looks just like Rafi. But then I realized, I was like, wait, it's not him. But he looks so much like him. And I ended up doing a video with him, and he was so cool. I love that guy.
I think I saw that video.
Cool guy. Like, he was so down to do whatever I told him to do, and he was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Like, and he was doing the videos with me. So I got to do videos with him, not the real Rafi. I only took a picture with the real Rafi.
Yeah, interesting, man. Interesting. Yeah, so cool. Me and my wife, every time we see a sign of him, we're like, dang, dude, how much money must they be generating, dude, to market everywhere, dude? That's crazy.
They just went into Yuma. I saw that.
Get out.
Yeah.
Man, they're crushing probably, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Luz, real quick with you. So I know you're the creative one, and I know that you like to, you're to grow the brand, man. You got it. You got the spark for sure. What are some creative ways, or tell me how you use creativity to grow your business? Because I've seen it obviously through your social media, but one thing that I've come to find out about real estate is that it's basically like a empty canvas, man, and you can make that painting what you want. At least from the friends that I have that I know are real estate agents. So how are you going about that? How are you being creative to grow your business? But then also, like, where do you see taking that, to, and how do you see yourself molding your business from that standpoint, the creative standpoint? Like, what are some ideas that are rolling in your head right now?
Yeah. So I think definitely one thing that I've learned really early on is that, I guess, his company, his mentor actually came out with this slogan, like, attention is the new currency.
Yes.
Something you've heard is obviously, so if your business is not on social media, you're losing a lot of money, right? Because right now, why pay for a billboard when you could just be on social media and people blow up on there? So one thing that I've made really clear to myself and anyone that always comes and asks me for advice is, you need to be on social media. You need to be consistent with content. You need to stay up with the trends and like what videos and what music and what's trending and whatnot. Why? Because people are going to be on social media. As soon as you wake up, one of the first things we do is go on social media, go to the restroom and go on social media. We're eating on whatever it is, everything. So I like to basically be the person that as soon as you go on Instagram, I want to be one of the first persons that you see pop up on your feed or on the story. Why? Because it's kind of staying consistent in your head. So when people ask someone that doesn't know a real estate agent, the first person they're going to think of is me because that's the only person that they see. So that's what I've kind of tried to do as far as my marketing, and trying to stay not just informative, because information is great, but you also need to keep your audience entertained, right? Entertained. And you need to, like something that you just mentioned, like, oh, I remember seeing this video of like the boxing gloves and stuff, like it's something that you remember because it was funny, like it had a little impact, and like, oh, this is very creative. And I've gotten a lot of feedback on that, like, oh my gosh, that video, or like the one where you were standing up, that little one that I just did not too long ago. And people remember those things, and it's kind of just staying in people's heads, whatever way you can use to do that. And I think that I always try to, there's always a reason why I do something. whether that's me putting a Rafi thing and all that, there's always a reason behind it. And one thing about us now is that I started creating, like, my new business name is going to be LV Homes. I just got the logo, like the final official logo is already out today. So I'm going to start promoting that. And I love it.
Breaking live, guys.
Literally. And it's LV Homes because Luz Villalvazo. So I used my initials, LV Homes. But something that David kind of brought up to my attention, he's like, hey, why don't you start giving your people, was it you or was it me who brought up, why'd you look at me like that?
I don't think we're allowed to speak about that.
No,
You're
it's
giving
fine.
all the tea, baby.
No, so he's like, hey, why don't you resonate your logo with, Louis Vuitton? Because it's LV. He's like, we're able to go ahead and obviously, gift our clients. Because every time we do a closing, most realtors, I'm sure you've seen, give their clients something, right? So I was like, oh, that's actually perfect. Why? Because it goes with my logo and it resonates with my name, with my logo. And I want it to be something that sticks with people's mind. I want people to start what's it called? Thinking of like, oh, okay, we're gonna buy a house, and it's my signature. The signature is gonna be Louis Vuitton. Giving my client something Louis Vuitton related, because now we're able to go ahead and do something with LV Homes.
Don't let my wife hear you.
You know what? Show this podcast to her.
Hey, I want to watch that. No, not that one.
I didn't like that episode.
So it's just something that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's very creative. It's very, unique. It's very different. And it's something that's going to keep in people's mind, like LV, Louis Vuitton, Luz Villalvazo, so it's just kind of figuring out how to make things kind of stick in people's minds and people's memories.
Yeah, you seem to be good at that, man. And you seem to be good at catching trends and making it your own and putting it in front of people, man. So how many times a day do you find yourself posting?
I honestly, there's days that I post more than others. There's some days that I just, you just don't want to be on social media, or maybe I just didn't dress up that day and I don't want to show up on camera. But I would say on a good day, I'll post at least 10 stories of different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. You know what? I had a guy just recently who at one time lived off of YouTube and like Twitch and stuff like that. Currently, he has over 800,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he stuck around. Really cool dude. Really cool guy. And man, I shouldn't have had dinner before I did the pod. I had carnitas in it.
Damn, should have come earlier.
I know, doggy. But yeah, so anyways, we had him over and we're like, dude, can you look at our analytics on YouTube so you can give us some advice, And he did, and it was real cool because he was going through everything, but he said something that you said, and then he said a little bit, he added on to that, but really realistically, he's like, right now, you don't want to focus on how many followers you have or like how many subscribers. He's like, focus on engagement. He's like, the number of engagement, that's what you want to look at. Like, for example, for me, I just barely started like trying to work my personal brand, like WIFFY Real, and under that, I want to like, start sharing my voice, whatever that voice is. I came up with this little, thing called, like, I call it the real way, like, cause it's my last name, but relational, engaging, authentic, and loving. And that's how I've built my personal relationships, my network, and my businesses. And so I'm going to start talking about that because my wife's like, dude, you just naturally network. So just start talking about that. Like, teach people how to do that, And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So anyways, I've been posting little videos here and there. I'm still trying to find the way I do it and, my voice. But all that to say that I don't have a lot of followers. I have maybe about 500 in my personal account. But my engagement has been through the roof, And so the guy that was here is like, yeah, that's what you want. He was like, before you wanted the subs, you wanted the followers because the algorithm, that's how they would feed people your content. He's like, but it's changed since then. So he's like, even if you have 1 million now, they're not feeding them your content. Like it's like, I mean, yes and no, but it's like a hit or miss. And so he's like, but you want to, like, if people are actually engaging with your video, that's what's important. He's like, now having like 1 million subs is like a flex because it's not necessarily needed for like even to earn money, which is crazy. After you hit like a certain number of followers, like you can start monetizing. And even if you don't grow, but your engagement is big, you still rake in the big bucks.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, so it's cool. I like your guys' approach because you guys are definitely engaging people. And I'm trying to find, how I can engage people and stuff like that. But I'm liking it, man. I'm excited. I'm happy, and we'll see where it goes.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll talk after the show and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, cool collab, man. Cool collab. Right on, man. What's I have a few more questions, guys, but before we get into those last questions, dudes, what's something that you guys feel, because you guys do have a following? I see you guys have some followers. Speaking of followers and stuff like that, man, like what's something that you would want to communicate, not just to them, but to the audience that's gonna see us, man? What's in your heart, man? Like, what do you want to tell people today? Like, if you were in a conference, so to speak, and you guys were the key speakers, like, what are you talking about today, and what do you want to communicate?
A ver, Luz.
Hey, time out. Guys, he walked in, he's like, no, bro, I'm not quiet. Well, he's been taking over. And then right now he's like, hey, Luz.
This is where you step in.
That's where you step in, baby.
I'm just giving him a hard time, man.
No, I mean, honestly, I would talk forever, but there's a lot. I think that
What's your message? What's your message?
Does it matter what kind of message it is? Like if it's
No. Whatever you want, in a nutshell. Like, what's in Luz's heart, mind? Like, what do you want to communicate to your audience? Like, hey, man, like if you were the keynote speaker tonight, which you are on the WIFFY Rail podcast, what do you want to communicate to the audience?
Yeah, I think more than anything, something that has come a lot to my mind lately, these last couple of weeks, has been just being able to actually enjoy life. And, obviously, I think, especially in the United States, I've heard that when you go to Mexico, life is like businesses close at a certain time. You get to spend time with your family. Like, it doesn't feel so rushed. It doesn't feel so like wake up, go to work, come back home, and go to sleep and go to work and go, like, all that stuff, right? And obviously, we are in a business where, at least for me, I feel like there's moments and there's times where all I do is work. And I feel like I was like that for a couple of years, where all I did was work. I feel like I didn't see my family for a long time, or it would take me forever to go visit them and all that stuff. And there was a moment of realization for me that came to my mind. And I was like, hey, we need to take a moment, and we need to not slow down, but make time for the things that are important. And I think that that's really huge. And I think that that's a really huge message that people need to understand, that it's not all about the money, that it's not all about being the top number one or being the number one in the sales, whatever it is, right? The blessings will come. And even just like the Bible says it, right? Focus on me, and I will go ahead and take care of everything else. And I think that that's something that I have taken really, really heavily lately in my life, is there's more important things than just work and than family, and taking the moment to be able to spend time with our family, because at the end of the day, we're going to pass away one day, and what is going to be left is just going to be all the memories that you created. Our parents are not going to live forever. What is it that I'm going to keep from them? Am I going to be like, dang, like I said I was going to retire them one day, but I didn't. And now what? I didn't get to spend time with them. I didn't get to create those memories. So one thing that I would send a message to everybody is just take a step back. If there's something that you want to do, if there's that vacation that you need to take, there's this one song. It's actually called, dang, I forgot. It's a country song. Every time I hear that song, I'm always like, dang, like that song is like hits deep, because it says, do it. Like, if there's somebody you love, go tell them you love them. If there's somebody that you want to propose to, go do it. If there's somebody, go do it now, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know if you'll have that opportunity tomorrow. So don't wait for tomorrow what you can do today. Like, there's no point on holding grudges. There's no point on holding a lot of things, where you can just go ahead and let it go today, and everything else will fall into place. So I think that's just one of the biggest messages I would do and tell everybody. It's slow down, take a breather. And if there's an opportunity, if there's a risk, there's a chance, take it. There's two quotes that I love. The first one is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's huge. That's one thing that I live by all the time. I'm like, okay, that's one. Two is like, what's the worst thing that can happen? If I do this, if I pursue my business, and it fails, what's the worst thing that can happen? And the worst thing that can happen is that I will end up right back where I was and right back where everyone else is at. And is that really the worst thing? Yeah. Okay. Then let me do it. Let me take a risk, because I will miss 100% of those shots that I don't take. And one thing about me is that I will not want, and I do not want to live with what ifs. I just want to go all in.
Powerful, Luz. You're ready, girl.
I know you had it in you.
From the day I met you, baby. What about you, bro? Ditto.
Honestly, right? What she said.
What she said.
Back to you.
That's funny.
So, you know, one thing that I'll tell people is to not, and then this is just like, you know, you find your balance, right, about business and family and everything like that. Don't slow down, but find a balance where you can hang out with your family. So kind of something that can potentially be similar to that is just like if you're wanting to start something, you're going to get a lot of people that are telling you not to do it, right? They're going to be like, hey, don't do that. It's risky. It's this, it's that. You're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to spend a lot of money. The returns aren't whatever. But you're going to hear that a lot, especially if you're trying to do something that most people want to do, but are too scared to do. So for them to feel better, they're going to tell you not to do it. And that happens a lot when you start a business, when you want to start a business, when you want to do just something out of the ordinary to better yourself and your family and your future. You're going to get a lot of that negativity and a lot of people telling you just not to do it. And you should ignore it. You should do your research on what it is that you're going to be doing and do it. And just, you know, push those negative comments away, push those, you know, there's family members that might even be like, hey, like, don't do that. I don't believe in you. I don't think you can do it. I don't think you should do it. And which, you know, it's painful to hear, but you should, for those listening that want to do something and have it in their heart and they're scared, like, what if people think of me this way? What if people think of me that way? Or people are telling me that I'm going to fail if I do it. Just don't listen to them. If you believe that you can do it, just go ahead and do it. Ignore those comments and just fly. Just do it.
Dude, awesome, man. Yeah, man. You know what's funny, dude? I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, there's definitely some people, especially when we start climbing that ladder of success, that instead of helping you up, dude, they want to bring you down. You know. But there's also those people that will believe in you and will give you a helping hand, dude. And that's been the story of my life, man. Honestly, I'm just so grateful for the people that have gotten to me and some of the people in my circle that have that actually weren't necessarily in my circle, but became part of my circle because of the, you know, love and support that they just poured out, you know, without me even having to ask. They're just like, hey, I see you hustling, man. I want to be a part of it, you know? So, yeah, dude.
And support, I mean, support doesn't have to be monetary. You know, it can literally be a share.
Right.
It could be a, hey, go watch my guy's podcast.
Right.
Go to my friend's new barbershop.
Like a positive word, dude, a pat on the back.
Like
dude,
I
like
posted maybe it's my first real estate video ever, and my friend, all he has to do is share it, and that's helping, you know.
Right.
Even just they hit you up, like just like you said, hey, I see you started a new business. That's so awesome. I'm proud of you. Let me know how I can help you, what I can do for you, things like that. It could be moral support.
Right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. On the whole, like taking a risk, like I think I'm in that space in my life. I was talking to another guest about it, where I'm trying to find a balance because I got married young, man. I got married young, and Noah's probably thinking like, here we go, bro. He always talks about this, but it kind of always comes up because it's part of that conversation. I won't go into the details because I've already shared it in another pod. Go check it out. But on the surface level, I got married young, man, and we had kids like right off the bat. We didn't have a foundation built, dude. So for years, we've been trying to, as we have a family, build that foundation, and it's been so hard, you know. And so, I'm still trying to hustle. I'm out there trying to do things, you know, this and that. And so I was just talking to my wife. I was like, man, dude, I wish we would have kind of done things a little different, you know, where you and I getting married, totally cool, but like put a pause on it was your fault, baby. You jumped on me that night. But
I told you not tonight. And
I told you, hey, not tonight. But yeah, dude. And so all that to say that I want to be a good father. You know, I want to be present as much as I can, because I don't believe necessarily that, like, if you're out there hustling and you want to build something for your family, I don't think it's like 100% both ways. Like, you're going to be present and you're going to be successful. Like, there's
Yeah.
going to be sacrifice,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
And so, I was just talking to my wife in this new opportunity that is coming up for us. I was like, babe, how are you feeling about it? You know, I've already kind of been mentally absent. I've been physically present, but mentally absent because I'm trying to hustle, you know? And this new opportunity, if it comes to fruition, then that's going to be my life for the next couple of years, because I'm going to grow this thing, you know? How do you feel about that? And her response was like short and simple. She's like, well, we can't have everything. And I was like, 10-4, dude. Like, to me, that was like, go get it. You know, I understand. You don't have to explain to me. Life isn't that, popsicles and cherry. Like, it's a grind, you know? And so she just kind of gave me the green light by saying that, you know? And so, but in the same way, I'm trying to change certain things in being present in those little moments that I do have with my kids, you know? Before you guys came today, man, I was like fixing up, you know, setting up the studio, because again, normally it's not like this, and my daughter was in here and she wants to do a podcast, dude. So I was like trying to spend time with her, and then I was doing a little music, praise and worship, man. I had a moment, and then my daughter was sitting there, and I was just like in tears, you know. I was sitting here and I was crying, and then I had the towel over my face because I didn't want her to see me cry. She calls me Bombon. She's like, "What's wrong, Bombon?" And I was like, "It's your fault because you keep calling me Fluffy." No, I'm kidding. But I was just like in the moment of gratitude, you know. I was like, "Man, God's been so good," you know. In the midst of the hustle and in the life toils and all that stuff, like, there's always a moment to just stop and just be thankful, you know. And so that's cool, man. That's cool, guys. One of the questions, man, I'm glad we kind of asked that, because it's leading into one of my last questions. And I asked this question to all my guests, but I always preface it with, like, you guys totally don't have to answer. Not all my guests come from different walks of life, so we never know where that walk of life is, right? Where that journey has been. But we asked this question, and I'll kind of explain why at the end. But it's one of those questions, the only question really on this podcast, where you don't necessarily have to answer if you guys don't want to. And it's totally understandable. But the last question that I asked my guest is, do you guys believe in God? And if so, what does that look like in your life?
Yeah, 100%. We believe in God. We follow God, and just like everybody, there's things we need to work on. We're not perfect, but we definitely 100% believe in God, and He's the center of our, of our relationship, of our marriage. And in business, I'll be honest. In business, sometimes you get lost in that grind, especially when you're starting, and you might forget to pray, forget to or decide you're too tired, you don't go to church, things like that. But it's something that, when you admit it, and you know that it's something that you need to work on, that's when you really start working on it, right? So yes, we believe in God 100%. We love God, and we wouldn't be here without God's support. In the bad times, the good times, God's always there. Um, Never in my life have I ever doubted God. That's something that I can say. I've never doubted God. The way my parents raised me, we didn't go to church every single Sunday, every single week, but they've always put that in my, they've always taught me, hey, no matter what happens, God is always going to be there for you. If something is going wrong, pray. If something is still going wrong after you pray, take it as a lesson, because you're going to learn from it. And as an obedient son, I was like, all right, let's do it. And every time I was in a downside of life, it was a slope, and then just an instant up, as I kept my belief. So God is always here. God is part of our business, our relationship, and it's only gonna continue.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, same here. 100%. Like I mentioned earlier, I grew up in church. And I think that was one of the best things that my parents could have done, is raise me. Obviously, as you're growing up and as you become a kid and a teenager and like all those stages, there's a point in life when you're like, oh, like I hate church, you know, I don't want to go, or not that I hate it, but like I'm gonna go to sleep, or you know, you start sleeping in church and like you're like, oh my gosh, like I would rather be at home watching movies or whatever the case is. There's those moments in life. Now imagine me being 4 years old and me still going to church till this moment, right? And there's all those little moments in between and all that stuff. But I think that one of the biggest things and one of the, I guess, most proudest moments I know of my parents too is the fact that they, through all those moments, even when I was little and I probably didn't want to go to church because I was tired, they were like, no, let's go. We're going. And obviously I had no other choice at that point than to go, right? So I think that was one of the biggest investments that my parents could have made in my personal life, is taking me to church and just learning everything that I learned. Because now in my adult life, there's been moments where, you know, I'm like, dang, like this or whatever, or I want to call it quits or this or whatever the case is. Or even if there was a moment in my life where I'm like, maybe not going to church or whatever the case is, in the back of my head, it's always like, hey, everybody could leave you, but the only one that can't ever leave you is God. The only one that has ever always been there for you has been God. And God has opened all the doors. Every single door that we've been through, that I've been through since the moment that I, you know, grew up and everything, it's always been him. And I always say, like, everything that I have, everything that we have together, all the glory to God every single time, because we wouldn't be here where we're at. I think there's moments where I'm like, dang, like you really are so graceful and merciful, because there's a lot of things that I feel like I don't deserve, but yet he still gives them to me and he gives them to us. And he's opened so many doors. And when God closes the doors on me, because he has closed doors on me too, just like he's opened them, he has closed them. But there's a reason behind every single one of those, you know, doors closed. And I think that that's one of the biggest things and one of the biggest lessons that I've kind of learned. When God closes those doors, I'm like, okay, this isn't happening. And I'm not going to fight with God because God knows what he's doing, right? But then there's those doors that he opens and I'm like, wow, like, thank you, because I didn't deserve that. But 100%, I think God has always been one of my biggest things. And even in the moments of where I feel like I'm the more like away from him, because there's moments, right, in my life, there's been those moments where I haven't been as close as God as I should be. But at the end of the day, I always come back to him, because I know that there's nothing else in this world that's going to fill my heart more than what his love can.
Yeah. I thank God for everything, I guess, bad or not the happiest moments or unfortunate circumstances. I thank God for all of those, because every single time you learn something from it. You know, you learn something, especially when you know that God's always with you. I don't look at it like, dang, why is this happening? I'm like, all right, what are we learning today, God? And you always walk away with a lesson. You know, I always look at things that go wrong. I always look at it that way. Like, what am I learning today? What am I learning this month? How am I gonna use this for my future? What are we doing today, God?
Awesome, dude. That's cool, man. I think I told you guys earlier today, but I went to a conference recently, man. It was like a business conference / spiritual conference. It's a Christian conference, and put on by this really cool dude. And it was in Vegas, and I took my wife, and I really liked it because one of the things they touched on was like being sensitive to God's spirit, and not really taking a step forward until you got some confirmation, so that like you're living in plan, so that he can, you know, in that place provide for you what he had already planned to provide for you, you know, things like that. It was real cool. Totally recommended for you guys next year. We can all go together to Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
But I'll have to say that it was awesome, man. I like the vibe. One of the guys that really touched my heart, and I've shared it before too in another pod, was like, they're all millionaires, right? Like, well, not all of them, but most of them. Some of the key speakers, you know, because they've had different businesses, mostly in real estate and others in other things. But there was this one guy, man. He got up there with shorts, like some sneakers, and he was wearing like this rad sweater, you know. I was like, man, this guy's feeling the vibe. And like you could tell, like, I don't know if he had just woken up, but his hair was like whatever, you know. But he's like, hey guys, I'm not a preacher, but I'm here to tell you how to listen to God's word, you know. And he took us through like an exercise. And he asked like 5 questions, and he's like, "These last two, I want you guys to write them down." And the last two were like, God. The first one was like, God, quiet my mind. The second one was like, God, it was quiet the noise, quiet my mind. And then I forget the third one, but the last two were like, what's one sin that I need to repent of today? And then like, what is it that you want to communicate to me today? And dude, like he had us write it down, so I wrote it down. And then he's like, "All right, guys, I need you guys to share that with the person to your right."
Oh,
So
shoot.
when he said that, everybody started laughing, and it wasn't like a holy moment, like you know how you go to church, it's like you're either in worship or whatever. It's like a cool moment. No, it was just totally like a bland moment. Everybody's laughing, everybody's cracking up, but in that moment, dude, I was like in tears, man. I was in tears because I really felt God speak to me in that moment. And that's how I knew it was God, because it was totally unexpected and not the moment, you know, that you would think. And I turned around and I couldn't really speak because I was just choked up. But I told my wife, and I had a moment, and we left the conference. We talked later, you know, my wife and I. And one of the things that I share all that to say that one of the things that I really felt like that I needed to do was to incorporate him in everything that I did, like unapologetically. And even if it like is random and it doesn't make sense, you know, uh, obviously in a cool and shrewd way. But like, so I told Noah, dude, I think that's a direction we're gonna start taking on the pod, because that wasn't originally what we were doing. I don't want to be known as like a Christian pod because that's not my vibe. You know, I don't want that. Uh, but at the same time, I don't want to like not talk about something that's real in my life, you know, and that could potentially change other people's lives, you know.
I
So
love that. I
yeah,
actually really love that.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Def.
do. And it's that in my heart, kind of just like right now, random. But I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out how I need to do that too.
Mm.
How I need to, because people know about me going to church and whatnot. But I think involving him more like that in your business, I think that's beautiful. And if you involve God in everything you do, that's just going to blossom, and that's just going to be even more, you know?
Yeah, you know, and I like the whole idea of like not taking a step until you kind of have some clarity. You know, I mean, sometimes we really don't know. We just go off of, you know, the feeling that we've got, and I think that's totally okay. Um, but one of my, and I'll close with this on this topic. But so I think I shared with you guys too. But I grew up specifically like in the Latin church originally, like you know, in Spanish and stuff like that. I think I hit a certain age, and then we moved to like an English church, and it was like two different worlds. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I ended up graduating high school, and I went to go. Well, I went to university, and I studied theology and stuff like that. Graduated, and then I worked in ministry, full time ministry, for 10 years. And so I worked at like different churches and stuff like that, small, big, medium, you know. And I got to see like the behind the scenes, you know. And then obviously with my experience too, and my what I was raised in, and all that. But one thing that I can tell you, just I'm kind of in a weird space right now, but I uh I just shared it yesterday too, and and I don't want it to become a thing of me saying this, but I also wanted it to be part of my message, you know. But I think one of the things that I'm reverting to is like the simplicity of the gospel, dude, you know. And what I mean by that is just like it's not that complicated. And it certain things that I grew up with, like norms, right? Like traditions, like those things don't hold power over me anymore, you know? So like for example, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I went to church every Sunday. I don't. But I'm staying connected, you know. I have mentors that are believers. Obviously I do go to church, you know, sometimes. But sometimes I'm the guy giving the service, you know. and but I find myself, the funny thing is that now that I'm away from professional ministry, doing more ministry in a more organic way, you know, with no tradition, no denomination, nothing behind it, just like pure gospel, if you will, you know. And it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing, man. It's so refreshing, and it's so organic, and I feel free in a lot of ways, you know. And that's kind of like my message that I want to get across, and specifically to like the Latin community, you know. I'm like, we gotta get away from the religiousness and come back to the heart of the gospel, in my opinion. you know.
Yeah.
But
100%.
that's another conversation for another day. But cool, guys. So go ahead, feel free to plug in your businesses, man. Tell people where you are, where they can find you. I know you talked a little bit about it earlier, like you shared the name of your new biz, LLC. But feel free, man. Look at the camera. This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Both of you guys.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for watching. If you stayed all the way to the end, I am on Instagram as Arizona Realtor _Luz, on Facebook as Luz Villalvazo, on TikTok as Arizona Realtor _Luz, and on Google as well. If you guys want to see my reviews for any of my clients that have left me, you'll find me as Luz Villalvazo Realtor as well on there.
Guys, again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting the podcast with WIFFY. You can find me also on Instagram. It's david.barber.lender. You can see everything I post there. I post a lot about, the closings that I do with my clients and a lot of the realtors, so my realtor partners that I use. Yes, I have more than just Luz. I do have more realtors that I do.
How dare you?
that I do support, and we work together. Have these amazing partnerships to be able to help my clients. Hopefully, you could be one of our clients soon.
Right on, guys. I just want to say thank you guys for being here again. You guys seem like awesome people. To everybody listening, man, this is literally the first time that we meet. But we sometimes keep it intentionally that way so that our conversation is organic and the expressions are genuine. You said what? But if you guys stayed, like she said, like Lou said, tuned all the way to the end, I just want to say thank you guys for the support. Make sure you guys stay tuned. I know I mentioned it in the last episode, but we're soon to release the first merch piece. You guys will see me wearing it here pretty soon. So thank you guys so much. And as we like to say here in the WIFFY Real podcast, baby, we always end it with a big hoorah. Catch you guys later.